We all like to think that love is a genuine and selfless pursuit, but the harsh reality is that many people are drawn to partners with the power to make them feel superior, desirable, and ultimately, whole. This desire for validation through control is rooted in deep-seated insecurities that can often be masked by a facade of confidence and independence. I've seen this dynamic play out in my own life, in the lives of those closest to me, and in the countless stories shared with me by strangers, a relentless pursuit of power and validation, disguised as love and affection. In this video, we're going to dive into the dark underbelly of attraction, exploring the hidden power dynamics and insecurities that drive our desires, and expose the uncomfortable truth about what we really crave in love and relationships. As we navigate the complex landscape of attraction, it becomes increasingly clear that what drives people to seek connections often lies in the need for validation, rather than genuine desire. We've all been sold a fantasy of love as unconditional acceptance, but the truth is, our insecurities and egos are constantly driving us to wear masks, to conceal our true intentions and desires behind a facade of attraction. The notion that love is a selfless act is a beautiful myth. But the reality is that relationships are often rooted in a desire for control, for security, and for a sense of belonging that we haven't quite found within ourselves. When we're drawn to someone, we're often not seeing them for who they truly are, but rather a projection of our own ideals, a reflection of what we hope to find in a partner. And it's this blurred vision that can lead us into some of the most destructive patterns of behavior. Behind the facade of attraction, there often lies a deep-seated fear of being alone, of being unloved, of being unviable. This fear drives us to seek out relationships that can provide us with a sense of stability and security, but also creates a cycle of self-deception, as we convince ourselves that love is about sacrifice and devotion, rather than genuine connection and mutual respect. Attraction, we're told, is about finding that perfect connection, that spark that ignites our passion, but have you ever stopped to consider that the root of attraction often lies in an insatiable quest for validation and belonging? When we seek out relationships, we're not always looking for love, we're seeking a reflection of our own inadequacies, a chance to prove our worth to ourselves and others. The desire for control is a primal human urge, often manifesting in a desire for dominance, not just over our partners, but also over our own vulnerabilities, our fears, our insecurities. In the heat of attraction, we may convince ourselves that it's the other person who completes us, but in reality, it's often our own self-deception that's driving the need for external validation. Fear of being alone, fear of being unwanted, fear of being unlovable. These are the primal fears that fuel our attraction, often leading us to settle for relationships that are more about security than true connection. The ego, that cunning trickster, feeds our insecurities, whispering sweet nothings in our ear, convincing us that the next partner, the next conquest, will finally make us whole, finally make us worthy of love. When we're drawn to someone, it's not always the genuine connection that drives us, but the need for validation and a sense of completion we've been lacking within ourselves. Attraction is just a symptom, and understanding the underlying power dynamics is crucial to uncovering the truth behind our desires. People often fall into relationships because they seek control over a partner who completes them, not because the love itself is authentic. Our fear of abandonment hides a deeper fear losing the one thing that provides us with a fragile sense of security. We often attract what we feel we can't have, due to an innate need for challenge and a push against the boundaries of our own self-imposed restrictions. The ego is a master deceiver, convincing us that what we truly crave is the love and acceptance of another, rather than acknowledging the insecurities that have long plagued us from within. In the realm of love and attraction, we're often blinded by the illusion of romantic passion, but in reality, we're unconsciously seeking validation and a sense of control. We try to convince ourselves that we're in love, when in fact, we're just responding to deep-seated insecurities and a fundamental desire for connection and acceptance. Our greatest fears are not of rejection, but of being hurt by those we trust, and this fear can drive us to unconsciously seek out relationships that are toxic or even abusive. The ego, not our hearts, is often the driving force behind our attraction, as we seek to impress and be desired, rather than truly connecting with another person. We may claim to be free and independent, but the need for security and validation in our relationships often reveals a deep-seated insecurity, a desperation for acceptance and love. By exploring the power dynamics that underlie our relationships, we begin to see that our desire for love is often a fragile construct, built upon a shaky foundation of fear, ego, and self-deception. When we're drawn to someone, we often attribute it to their unique qualities or charm, but the truth is, it's often just a reaction to a desire for validation or control that stems from our own insecurities. As we navigate the complex landscape of love and relationships, it's crucial to recognize that our attraction to someone can be a manifestation of our own desire for emotional safety and security, rather than a genuine connection with that person. We tend to romanticize relationships and view them through a rose-tinted lens, ignoring the power dynamics at play and the ways in which we may be using the other person to feed our own egos or alleviate our fears. In reality, our fear of abandonment, rejection, and vulnerability drives many of our choices and actions in love and relationships, often leading us to prioritize short-term gains and superficial connections over authentic and meaningful ones. It's a curious phenomenon, how we often crave intimacy, yet simultaneously fear the vulnerability that comes with it, a paradox that exposes the deeper insecurities and contradictions that lie at the heart of our desires. Ultimately, our attempts to justify, rationalize, or even lie to ourselves about our motivations and the nature of love and relationships reveal a more profound truth that we're all struggling to find a sense of self-worth and acceptance in the eyes of others. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey into the complexities of human attraction. As you reflect on the power dynamics and insecurities that often govern our relationships, remember that true love and intimacy require courage, authenticity, and a willingness to confront our deepest fears. If you found this content thought-provoking, please hit the like button, share your observations in the comments, and subscribe to this channel for more insightful explorations of human psychology.